I'm Tamika D. Mallory.
And it's your boy, my son, the General.
We are your host of TMI.
Tamika and my son's information, truth, motivation, and inspiration.
New name, new energy, but
same old us. How you doing, Tamika D. Mallory?
I'm doing good. I had some coffee.
You look like Blair just now.
Yeah, cause
literally that was Blair mode right now.
I had some coffee today, and coffee. I'm telling you, when I used to work at National Action Network, with Reverend Al Sharpton's organization. You know, I was there for 14 years, and at some point, I discovered coffee, and because we like, you know, they had coffee. You had to go make coffee. You have coffee in the morning, and so I started being like, oh, I could drink coffee. I did not know at that time that I had anxiety. You know, this is something that I discovered the name of it now. Because remember, they didn't call stuff anxiety, nothing. They just said you was crazy or bugged out or couldn't sit still, you fidget too much. You know, that stupid stuff is what they did. They didn't
ADD.
Yeah, ADD. No such thing as ADD. ADD is a new term.
It was? I thought ADHD is the new term.
No. There was no diagnosis except dumb or what other things? They said you was stupid. You had behavioral issues. You were bad. You were what is it? Like crazy. Like they literally, it made you think that something was wrong with you because nobody knew how to identify the proper terminology for these things. Nobody knew ADHD. That is a diagnosis that we now have understand that you can actually get treated for it, either through like psych therapy or whatever. So anxiety, we learned that last year, that there's a thing called anxiety that does not mean you're having a moment, right? Anxiety can actually be a condition that you experience regularly that needs to be
that's triggered by
regulated.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I didn't know I had anxiety. But drinking, you know, I started drinking coffee and something would happen to me to where I was like on 10, like nervous and
that's a lot.
Just doing like starting to go around the office saying crazy things and yelling and just doing too much. And then people would be like, what is wrong with you? But what was happening is that the caffeine was triggering my anxiety because I would almost always end up being really emotionally distraught at the end of the spike. And it's like, so they would say, please don't drink coffee. Please don't come in here to a meeting after you had some coffee talking about, and what did you do? And did you do this and did this? And because we need to do this and I got to do this. And I'm telling you, and then don't do anything. And that to this day, I use coffee when I absolutely need it, but it's not for me. Energy drinks, coffee, any of that stuff that, like, you know, those drinks that they say if you take this powder and the thing, it gives you energy and
protein
a boost.
And all that,
No, I can't have it. It's not for me.
Okay, that's good to know.
So I'm high as shit right now.
Okay. Well, hopefully you low down a little bit because it's a little crazy right now. You know, she out here bogling and all that. But anyway.
That's what it's called, bogling?
Yeah, when you do the bogle. Like
I never knew the name of it.
Yeah, it's the bogle.
It was the wine to me, I guess.
No, it's the bogle. The little two guns. You like, this is the bogle.
Oh.
Yeah.
See?
You learn something every day. So we're going to have a special episode, which we're not going to do a lot of intro, but Tamika did a good intro about coffee and her anxiety, and as she did the bogle. But we're going to skip right to our interview. We have a very special guest today, and we want to spend most of our time interviewing our guests and really getting a deep dive into this individual. Tell them who we're interviewing.
We are interviewing Loren Lorosa from the Breakfast Club. This is a young sister that I think both of us, we really admire her and celebrate her success. But I knew, right? And I think we are about to learn, and I'm sure you knew as well, that she didn't just start overnight, that there is an actual journey. And I love the fact that we get to be at the sort of, not the beginning stage of her newfound success, because she's already, you know, into it and well known and well respected, but there's so much more coming for her. And I love that we'll be able to interview her at different phases of her life and watch her grow to whatever it is she's going to tell us that she wants to be. So I'm excited to talk to Loren Lorosa today. You really worked on getting this interview.
I mean, yeah, it's a few people that you see growing. Like you said, we've been a part of the process, just seeing her grow and just watching her emerge and be professional.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not just a trend or just doing something to get clicks or just going viral. Just watching her doing it the proper way. Like you can tell that she was skilled and she studied and she did the things necessary. So, all of the accolades and the growth that she's having and the success she's having, I think is merited, and she's earned it. So just having this interview and asking a couple of questions that I never heard anybody else ask. So, I'm interested.
We get an opportunity to do something inspirational for me today. So that's it. We're about to have this incredible sit-down conversation with Loren Lorosa. Check it out.
Check it out.
Here we go with our friends.
Yes.
On the TMI show today. I am excited to have this young lady sitting with us. This young lady is somebody you know because you see her every single day, Monday through Friday, bringing
Sometimes
us.
on Saturday.
Bringing us the information, the news, and trying to keep the conversations elevated. I like that. I like to see somebody in the media that wants to elevate the conversation and even learn herself while doing the job. And Loren Lorosa, who has become a favorite of mine, and I know for my son as well, is a journalist, a media personality, and host of The Latest with Loren Lorosa, which is a
Black Effect.
That's right, we're siblings.
Yes, we're
at
cousins.
The cousins, right, at the Black Effect Podcast Network. And that show has become a phenomenon. I mean, just like that, it blew up, and, so happy to see all the success that you've had. And of course, you are one of the hosts now on The Breakfast Club. Are you host?
Senior news producer. But you see me on the show. Like, I do a feature. I do The Latest with Loren Lorosa as a feature. So you do see me on the show often.
Yes.
Okay.
Not host yet, but you will be soon.
Senior news producer.
I don't know. I mean, I guess that's
I'm
just
there.
the title.
That's
the
there.
title they give, but you can tell she's one of the if you're just paying attention, you realize that she's an important fixture, a part of the show. So, we have different titles. But if I'm watching, I'm like, oh, yeah, she's one of the co-hosts. That's
Absolutely.
what I'm saying.
That's how I
That's
feel
how
about
I
it. What we going to say up here? What is it? We're going to call you co-host, and we're going to say journalist, because those are the things that you have been doing. And we're excited to have you up here with us today.
I'm excited to be here, guys.
Yeah, so much to learn
I know.
about you. Where do we start? Where are you from?
Delaware.
Yeah, that's right. From
Yeah,
Delaware.
I
Who
feel
is
like
from Delaware, bro?
I literally was about to say, everybody when I say I'm from Delaware be like, you the first person I met from Delaware. Like, who's from Delaware? I mean, that you guys would know. Patience Foster that works with Cardi B. She's from Delaware. Yeah.
Okay.
Sukiana.
Oh,
Really?
so good.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's from Delaware. Who else? Y'all know Bones Highland? They play in the NBA.
Yeah. I know
Yeah,
Bones.
he's from
Okay.
Delaware. It's a couple of us.
Joe Biden is from Delaware.
Yeah, Joe Biden. I wasn't trying
Well, I was
to be
just-
political,
I'm
but
just saying.
Yeah, Joe Biden's from Delaware, and when I think he still has office and headquarters there. But like when all of the when their administration was doing all the things, they were headquartered like right in Wilmington, where I'm from. Like I could walk from their headquarters to like my mom's crib.
Yeah.
So
I have family members that live in Delaware, but they're expats, I guess is what you call them. People who like lived somewhere else and then they moved.
Oh yeah, yeah.
moved.
A lot of people move, especially like from like New York and
Yeah,
other places to
yeah.
Delaware, because you can buy a house, you got more space, you get more for your money. Like a lot of my family's from the Bronx, but they moved to Delaware. So I
Okay.
have family
Okay.
here, I have family in
There
Delaware.
you go. BS.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't really.
You from the
You
BS.
were born in
Born
Delaware.
and raised in Delaware.
Wow.
But my mom though,
She's
like
from the BS.
my mom's dad, that's his family. They're from the Bronx. My
What
mom's
part?
side, 16. They're gonna get so mad at me if I don't know this. 167 Shakespeare Avenue. It's High
Oh,
Bridge.
that's from she from the bridge? Oh, come
Yeah,
on now.
I don't-
That's where my son.
I mean, I
No,
can't. I'm not from there.
But your mama is.
Yeah, my
Your
family
mama.
is. My family's
Come
there.
on, she
Yes.
from the- I
Yeah.
probably know her.
Lord
maybe.
have mercy.
I probably know her. She from Shakespeare now.
Yeah, so it's like the little park.
Yes,
We-
I know
My
exactly
aunt,
what
my
you're
aunt
talking
building is across the street from the park. So like my whole life we've been coming up and going like
So
when
she the park, and then right
The
by the
corner store.
library and all of that. By
See, you
Talking
know,
about the corner
Yeah,
store.
I
I just know it's the store.
People
It's
from
the,
out of town always want to bring up the corner store
because it's
Like,
the store is right. It's the store. The barbershop is right next to the buildings.
Yeah.
Like, and then all of so like if you go there, especially on the weekend, like my uncle's just you pull up, they just out there, like
outside.
you know.
on the-
yeah.
So-
that's really the hood. That's where like A Boogie and them be at. Like right
See,
there.
I didn't know. I knew they was from the Bronx, and I knew it was like I knew it was the like the hood.
That's
Yeah,
where
like I
Cardi
knew,
from.
but
Cardi's
I didn't
from
know.
Really, literally around the corner from this. She's
Yeah.
from Nelson in 168, and you talking about 167 in Shakespeare. That's
See,
literally
yeah,
like
I
right
didn't know
around
all
the
that. Somebody had to tell me, like, that's High Bridge, and I was like, oh, that's where A Boogie be rapping about.
Yeah.
But I've been there my whole life, but I've never heard them say High Bridge, so
corner. Yeah, that's up.
I didn't really like know. I just we
Wow,
go
that's
to the Bronx to
crazy.
see my family.
What's the difference growing up? So now that you know, and since you have been visiting the Bronx all your life,
Yeah.
and then you were born and raised in Delaware, what's the difference in the culture?
Oh my gosh, I mean, you mean like as far as like the like my surroundings
Yeah,
and stuff?
like, yeah, how you grew up.
So I grew up in the city of like I'm from Delaware, but I'm from Wilmington, Delaware. So Wilmington, Delaware is the city. So it's like we have our own like stuff. Like we have like our own like places you go out, a couple places you shop. Like we got a lot going on there too. It's things and places and blocks you stay away from. It's just smaller. But then like at the same time, like when we would come to New York, my mom would like take us to like Times Square. We would go to Broadway. We would all that, and then we would go stay at my aunt's house in the Bronx. So the only difference to me was like it was just way bigger. I didn't really understand the difference, a lot of that, until I got older. Like, I mean, it's like but like you really don't know. And then like once I started to meet like, cause I have cousins of course that live up here and all that, but I didn't really know much about their lives. I only knew like I would see them when I would come here. But once you get older and you're hearing them talk about like, oh, they take the train to school, and I'm like, oh, that's different. Like we get on the bus or I drive.
Right.
So that's the difference. And I think in New York, when you like a lot of my family that grew up here, like my uncles, like a lot of them, they're older now and they move into Jersey and they kind of out the way. In Delaware, I grew up in the city and we've always lived in the city, but like my cousins there, their moms couldn't wait to get them out the city because you have the option. Like you could literally go 10 minutes and you're in like a suburb.
Oh, okay.
Versus in New York, it's like, it's all city. You gotta go a minute to go upstate to get away
yeah.
from things.
Yeah.
Like, so that's probably the biggest difference. It's like we have a lot of the same things that y'all have. It's just at a bigger volume and it
Scale.
comes at you faster here.
It comes at you fast.
Yeah, 100%. And you don't. I mean, Delaware, you kind of like, especially where I'm from in the city. Like, if you do something or people know you, even if you don't know them, like people know you. Here, it's like you can come here. And everybody got something going on. Like everybody do something here. It's not like that at home. Like people will be having things going on, but there'll be a group of people that like also just choose not to have something going on at the same time.
They're
Which
just living, surviving.
yeah, which then
good.
that's here too. But you can go, you can be in the Bronx and then come downtown and go to the city, and it's like none of that stuff even existed up there. In Wilmington, it's not like you could go to certain maybe like strips, like strip malls and things are like that, or like certain people who move into the city to work, because Wilmington is a really big banking area. Delaware, like people move there to work for the bank corporates, but you can't. It's hard to kind of escape what's happening because you're like one block next to the other. Like you can't really get away from it as easy.
Yeah, so you
So
see.
when did you come to New York?
I used to come to New York all the time. I lived in Delaware forever, but my mom, she would bring us up here. Like we probably be up here like every other weekend. Just
So, I mean, when did you move here?
I moved here like as an adult. 2023, right around the time that I started, like right before I started guest hosting, or no, right a little bit after I started guest hosting at the Breakfast Club. But I lived here before for internships.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did a summer living in Brooklyn here. I stayed up here for like a month or two for my Christmas break, working at Cosmo magazine. Like I lived here a little bit, but not really. As an adult, that just recently happened.
So, like, what made you want to get into journalism? Like, did you always know, like, that's what I want to do?
I knew I wanted to have a talk show. I didn't know that I didn't know it was like journalism, and like I knew I wanted to have a talk show. I knew I wanted to like be able to like, my whole thing is like storytelling. That's always been it for me. So I wanted to tell stories. I wanted to do it in fashion. I wanted to do it, as an actress. I wanted to create TV, not wanted to. I'm going to create TV. But I was like, once I get to a certain point, I'm going to be like Oprah. Like Oprah has a TV show and a talk show, and then like there was Wendy. I just was like, that's going to be like my thing I do when I like kind of slow down a little bit and want to have a family.
So journalism was like a process on the journey. It's like you're
Yeah.
getting to your end goal.
Yeah, so for me, I was like, you know, you'll do all those things. Like, you'll model, there'll be like clothing brands, you'll get to act, you'll get to create television. And then once you build up the relationships and the, you know, people know who you are and want to care about who you're talking to, then you'll have the show and you'll kind of do that daily and you'll have your family and, you know, your back-end projects behind the scenes and clothing lines and in the department stores. Like, that was how I thought this all was going to go.
And it never works that way.
Yeah, and I don't know where that came from, to be honest with you. Like, I've just always had the bug for like speaking.
So you was
Talking
like
to
Tamika. Like Tamika
Yeah.
was the girl that when she was young, her mother used to say she talked too much and all of that, and then
I
she
used to be
realized
in
it
trouble.
worked for her. She said it actually worked.
See?
All the stuff they told, so they didn't tell you.
My
talked too
mom
much?
never told me I talk too much. She just put me in, like, I just did
That's
stuff.
what you got to do.
Yeah, like I was in pageants. I would produce fashion shows, and my mom would like let me go. I would get on the bus and come up here to New York and audition to get signed by modeling agency. Like, all that stuff, she just let me do it. She never told me it was too much. I did have people who told me like, yo, you always doing something, or you talk too much, but that never was in my household. My family, like a lot of my family members, like, you know, my grandmother's brother had like a really popular band, the Larry Tucker Band in Delaware. My little cousin Nikayla, she was up here on Broadway for a while in The Lion King. She was baby Nyla, so I would come watch her. We all were doing pageants. So like, we were always doing stuff anyway. My family is like this. So it's not like you talk too much, because everybody talk too much. I'm probably, if y'all meet them, I get around them and get quiet. So like, that never happened at home.
So
but
it
yeah.
was. Would you say it was? You come from an entertainment family, kind of like the Jackson 5s type of vibe?
Now I wouldn't put Jackson 5 on us now. I wouldn't say all that, but like now that I'm in it and I'm like older and I'm thinking back, I definitely came from, I think all black families though be entertaining. Like, you have characters. Yeah. I definitely come from a family full of characters.
Yes.
Especially
Well, I think
like,
that's all black people.
Yeah.
But being on Broadway.
yes,
And
but I
having
was
bands.
I think there were a few of us who understood that could potentially be a business and a lifestyle, and we did that. But like, for instance, I have a cousin, Dylan Tucker. He's a comedian, and like, we're older and he's really pursuing his dream and, you know, trying to figure out how to get on as a comedian. And I be thinking like, where did he get his funny from? And then I think about all my grandmother's brothers. They all were I mean, we would sit, like, they would literally sit us down and they would like just tell jokes, and I'm like, oh, they were comedians. But I don't think that they had the luxury to explore that as a talent. It was just like, this is what we do.
This is what we do.
And our people always gravitated towards our family because of that. So like, we would have like the best family reunions and parties, and my uncle's here performing, and people would like go and show up. My grandmother did the card parties and all of the gambling stuff, and everybody would show up in the parties, but it wasn't like a job to them. And then you have the younger generation of my grandmother's like brothers and sisters who started thinking about it as a job, so they put it on their grandkids. So like, my cousin Nikayla, my grandmother's sister, was her manager for some time, you know, because like, she had the bug as well. But I think it just as we got older, it got different for us. We had more opportunity to do stuff, but they weren't like Jackson 5, like everybody was like, you know. But we do have some really good, like, you know, like one of my aunts was like the first Miss Black Delaware, like those type of things.
Okay.
Yeah, like, so it's there, but
It's kind of Jackson 5-ish.
Jackson 3 and a
Ish.
half.
Jackson
Three and a half.
3.5.
So, let me see. So what's it like, right? Well, first of all, obviously you found out that the plan you have is not God's way of doing things.
Yeah.
It just went in its own direction. But you were on TMZ.
Yes.
What was your role there?
I was the senior news producer at TMZ.
Right.
And so like, news producers, editors, like everybody would, well, not everybody, but they had a good mix of everybody from different departments on those shows that y'all saw. So I got to be on the show.
You got to go up there and do your commentary. Were you nervous when you first started, or were you always
No.
like, oh, I'm ready for this. This is my dream.
When I first started, I was a tour guide, and my goal was, I'm gonna get because when you're a tour guide, you're literally riding through Hollywood and you're hopping off the bus, and like, I might see one of the first celebrities I ever ran into was A$AP Rocky, and I hopped off the bus. So you hop off, you just gotta walk up, yo, hey, and you got your camera and it's just you, so you gotta banter on the spot. I knew like if my interviews were good, they would get played on the show. And if they got played on the show, you got to come in the room and pitch them on the show and talk about it. That was my goal every day. I'm like, yo, I need to get a celebrity because I want to get in the room, not just to get on TV, but I wanted to get in the newsroom. I wanted to see what that was like. And I was like, the more I'm there, because my interviews are good, once they learn who I am, I can be like, hey, I want to do this thing called the newsroom. Can I try it out?
And how did that work? Like, did you feel like the door was open? Like they were like, yes, we love you, let's go? Or
No,
did
it wasn't
you feel
we
like,
love you
nah?
first. It wasn't a nod. It wasn't it was very much like they used to make this joke that like to be on the news desk at TMZ, even if you were already working there, you kind of like were like hazed a little bit because the news desk is like, it's like the mean girls at lunch, and it's like, you can't sit with us. And then you go over and try to sit with them, and it takes you a process before you finally sitting over there.
Yeah.
That's kind of how the news desk, the vibe was when I was there. So when I was on the tour bus, I just did the best that I could. So like a lot of my clips picked up. So like one of my like first clips that I remember, I'm like, oh, Harvey knows my name now. Mariah Carey, she had just broke up with Nick Cannon. And I ran into her. She was on Rodeo. No, she was on it was not Beverly, might have been Rodeo. It was one of those blocks where she was out there shopping, and she don't, Mariah Carey don't talk to people. She does more now, but especially then
At the time,
and she had just broke up with Nick Cannon. Like
It was Beyonce vibe.
you're not getting an interview, no.
Nothing.
But I think me being young Black girl, like people see me out here hustling. Like a lot of times when I would get off the bus, even if the celebrities didn't want to talk to me, they wouldn't be rude because they like.
Yeah, she's
Like we see what you're trying to do
Right,
here. Like we
yeah,
get it. We
yeah.
understand. So I just walked up on her. Her security was like trying to like, they was getting me out of there. And she was like, no. Let her walk with us. And I was like, all right, bet. Boom, camera on. We walked and talked for like 30, 40 minutes. So I talked to her about like Nick Cannon. And like, I just, just talked to her like she was a person. And eventually I got to the Nick Cannon stuff. And the soundbite I got from her, it like they posted it to the website and it was everywhere. And they used it on all the shows. It was across like all the news outlets. And I always knew that like, whether I was going to tell stories like in front of the camera, behind the camera, it only made like the only thing that would break through was what do people want to know and how can you tell it to them? Or like what do people want to learn about? What do they want to see? And how can you do it in a way that is not already happening? And I've always just had that like knack of like being able to do that. So that's what I was doing. I would know exactly what we were focused on the website, what we were talking about, what the world was talking about. And when I would run into celebrities, I would try and get okay, well, you've already talked about this, but what about this? And then it was working. So the more I got in there, eventually it got to a point where they were like, so what you doing? Like, what you trying to do? And I was like, I want to be on a news desk. And they were like, okay, but you have to start as a PA. And by that time I had been a production assistant so many times and interned. I was like, I'm not doing that. Like, no, that's disrespectful. And they were like, it's the only way in. You got to learn the brand. So I was like, okay. So I became a PA for some time. And you're literally in the newsroom, but you're not really like on the news desk. Like you are watching stories. You're definitely learning the brand because you're seeing like what goes through the team email, what makes it to the website, what makes it to the shows. I really got a really good, chance to learn the difference between like a morning daytime show, live show, like TMZ Live is like a daytime talk show versus like their prime time, more funny, more edgier show. How to structure a show from top to bottom, your big topics to your small topics, booking guests. Like I learned so much stuff. And then I kind of went over to the news desk. And once I got on the news desk, it was tough, but I wasn't tripping. I wasn't scared or anything. But I just remember thinking like, I'm glad I humbled myself and learned the brand because I saw so many people come through there that like really, they were great, but they just didn't get it. And it's like, it was something you couldn't teach.
Wow.
And they would just miss the brand, like the voice of the brand. And I'm like, oh, I'm so happy I did that. And I was so mad I fought it for so long. I was like, yo, you're not making me no PA. Like, and no shade to the PAs. Everybody matters on the set.
You said you had already done it.
But I'd already, and I'd done it extensively. Like, I had done a lot before I got to LA. So I just felt like, no, I don't want to go backwards. But it was the best thing I think I've ever done.
So most people would look and be like, you just this overnight success.
Most people,
Like,
people say that to me.
Literally.
Yeah, people say that to me.
And visually, like when you pay attention, it's like, okay, I seen her here today, and next thing you know, she's there. What do you say to that? Like, do you feel like you had a process that was up and down? Do you feel like it was easier than most? Or,
No. It was not easier. And I'm so glad that I vlogged it. When people say that to me, I'd be like, yo, go check out my YouTube channel. For years, I vlogged trying to figure out LA, like to the point where like my car is repoed and I'm crying on my camera because the only thing that was working for me was YouTube. And it wasn't even working for me making no money. It was helping me grow a following, and I just knew I could figure something out with that and make my own money eventually. But like I documented everything. So when people say that to me, I'd be like, yo, you should go check out my YouTube channel. And I it's so crazy. I think this is like a God confirmation thing, because the other day I was trying to get an idea for something I want to do. I want to launch soon. And I just went down my YouTube channel and was looking at my old videos, and I was like, I should put this out. Like, again, like repurpose it and show people, because no, my journey was not easy. I moved to LA twice. People only talk about the second time when I was working with TMZ. The first time I graduated from college in 2014. I didn't have no job, no plan, no anything. My grandmother had a couple dollars that she saved up for me and was like, here. My mom was like, you should buy property in Delaware and then go, and you always have money. And I was like, no, I don't want to buy property. You just try and keep me here. I took all that money, went to LA. In 7 months, I had nothing and had to. My mom literally called me and was like, all right, this is how much money I got for you. Do you want me to ship your car so you can sleep in your car and then you don't got to give up on your dream? Or you can come home. What you want to use the money for? And I was like, I'm going to just come home. Came home. I had did an internship at Barclaycard US. So Barclays, like the Barclays Center, that bank, I did an internship because my degree is in marketing. Like I went to school for business. So I did an internship for them for like 2 years, and I worked with them like, you know, for some time, just building a relationship. So my boss, it's like, I know they wanted me to go to LA, but they really loved me. So she was always checking in on me, like when I graduated, trying to see what was going on. So the day I was headed back, she happened to text me and just be like, hey, how's everything going to LA? Like, you know, she was trying to help me figure it out. And I was like, I'm on my way back. I'm on the plane right now. And I don't know what I'm about to do, but like, I need to figure something out. And she was like, we'll make a job here for you.
Wow.
And we can figure it out where like, and in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to work at this bank. What am I going to do at a bank? Like, I'm a creative. I want to model. I want to tell stories. You know, all the hippie stuff when you ain't got no money, you try to figure it out. But like, it was more about like a passion. I just was like, I don't want to be somewhere where like I'm so depleted that like, you know, like I shouldn't have to do that.
Right.
They made a job for me, and it was very much like, you know, it was community relations. So it was dope being back home in my city and getting to talk to all these white rich people with all this money trying to help people that they don't know nothing about. So that was a good experience for me about like just seeing the difference between corporate and community and where everything lies in that, like entertainment. Like I didn't know banks were the literally the foundation of everything. So I got to see like their entertainment partnerships. I got to see all of their programming. I got to see how they fund stuff, how they fund movies. I got to see so much. It was like the best thing I could have ever done. Second best thing, because the PA job at TMZ was good too. But yeah,
it's a journey.
It was a lot of
and I appreciate. That's why we wanted to take the time to listen to the story, because oftentimes young people and a lot of people feel like they can just jump past particular steps. And sometimes you do see overnight successes. It happens every now and then.
Yeah.
But almost always those individuals who do have the overnight success have to double back and go get something that they missed along the way. So you see artists who end up going to Harvard Business School courses because they like, damn, all the money either I wasted or that was stolen from me because I just didn't know. I didn't know how to do deals. You know, I didn't know how to listen for words that really it sound good, but actually it was traps. Like I didn't know, so I had to go backwards to learn all those things. That is a normal. That is a thing that I see happening to people regularly, and it just doesn't get on Instagram, in a video clip, so people don't know that folks have suffered because they did not travel through a process and learn the things that they actually didn't know. So I think that, listening to you and what you're explaining, it's educational.
That's why I vlogged it though when I was in LA. Yeah. Because when I moved to LA, I felt like all of the like influencers and the people that were vlogging, it was like cute little house tours, and like, don't get me wrong, I was trying to do that stuff too. I'm like, they getting brand deals, they whatever, but that wasn't my ministry. Like I didn't have the house to tour. I was sleeping on my friend's couch. So I was like, yo, like, what can I do? If I'm gonna hire myself right now and I'm the only person that's gonna put myself on camera, what can I do? And I was like, I just gotta be honest about, I gotta tell my story. Like, if you a storyteller, the best story you can tell is when you really living for real. So I literally started doing that. Like, the description on my YouTube channel might still be there, but the description forever was from my friend's couch to national TV, because it was literally like you were walking with me from the day I got to LA, the day I quit my job, that I moved to LA. Because when I moved to LA, I didn't move the second time and I stayed. I didn't move to LA and it was like TMZ. I moved to LA as a publicist. I got a fashion PR job. Hated the job, but it moved me to LA. I was there enough and I got like, my feet planted for a second before I was like, nah, I'm out. But it was a real journey. Like,
These young people don't like jobs. That's not their thing. Like,
it's because they have the option to, like, to me, a job was always like a backup plan.
Got to have one.
Now it's like their backup plan. Like, there's a lot of young people that are making a lot of money. Like, there's a lot of young girls where I grew up at right now that do hair and lashes, and their plan is to like go get a business skill set of some sort, and probably not a 4-year college, and open up salon suites and live good off of that and build their business on social. Like, it's just different now. Like. And I understand, like, when we're like, nah, but you gotta understand, like, you gotta learn life a little bit, because I know for me, I be learning it every day.
Me
and
too.
I'm like, I'm so happy that I have it, because I can bounce back from whatever. But it's different for the kids nowadays. Their learned life looks a little different because of social. It's different.
So brown girl grinding.
Yes.
Where did that come from?
When I was in LA the second time, I was trying to get an agent so I could start acting. And I met with this agent. It was an Asian guy.
you were gonna act too?
Oh, that was the goal. I wanted to, all of this was like really a retirement plan. Like, what I'm doing now, I thought I was going to be doing, I wanted to model, I wanted to act, I wanted to develop and cast and script. Like, all of my background before this was that. Like, it was all casting and script. Like, y'all know Sean T, the workout guy?
Oh, I don't.
I worked, like, my first, like, kind of real job was, like, casting. I worked with a casting company called VPE Talent, Vinny Potasivo. We casted him for, like, one of his first gigs. Like, I had, like, so much experience in everything else but this. And this was the thing that worked out. That's how, that's why I was like, this is crazy. But, yeah, I honestly thought that I was going to, like, model, act, and then at like 60, I'd be like Oprah by that point, and then talk show and marriage, and that's how I had it all planned out. So it was the complete opposite. Like, I can't even describe to y'all how much of a complete opposite it is, but everything is coming back around again. Like, everything. So, like, now it'll be things that come up or opportunities that are presented, and I'll be like, yo, we've been doing that. Like, a lot of my friends that work with me, like my team, we've been working together since we was like 13 years old. So, like, something will come up and we'll be like, yo, we was doing that in high school. But people don't know me, so they don't know. So when they see it, like, I walked in a Fashion Week show and people was like, is that girl from the Breakfast Club? She can actually walk. I'm like, I've been modeling since I was 11. Like, but it's weird. It's so crazy how, like, I don't even know what the question was anymore. But Brown Girl Grinding came about, though, because I met with an agent, and the agent, he had a daughter, and he was just really nice, and he was just like, yo, I don't even want to waste your time. I want to be honest with you, like, if you were my daughter and you walked in this office, I would want someone to say this to her, so don't take it away. And he was like, you're a black woman in LA and you're brown skin. He was like, how many, if you look at, you want to act and you want to be a talk show host. He was like, look around and tell me right now how many women that look like you are on television doing what you're saying you want to do. In a talk show space, I think at the time I could only point to Wendy Williams, and then of course Oprah, but Oprah's like not even a real person. But it was like Wendy Williams, and then, like, you had your, like, regular, like, black actresses. And then he was like, but then you also want to model too? And like, that's a lot of crossover. Like, what black women are, like, crossing over successfully like that are, like, actually making money? And he was like, I can't make any money off of you. So he was like,
wow.
Yeah, he was like, we could do this thing called, like, fishing, which is where you don't officially sign, but the agency is like, hey, we're representing her, and then they throw me out there a little bit to just kind of see what bites, to see if people are interested. He was like, we could do that for some time, but I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I don't even know how I would sell you. Like, you do, there's too much that you do, black girl, brown skin, like, you just don't see that. So I left out of there, and I was mad, but I appreciated it. It wasn't coming from a harmful place. He was really being honest with me. And I think he could tell I was like really like new to LA, and you know, he didn't want me to like, I think he thought I was gonna get caught up in like somebody selling me a dream. So he was like, let me be honest with you about what the climate is right now. But when I left, I was just like, all right, if he's telling me that like brown skin, like that's my like thing that won't get me sold, that means that there is nobody within that space and people don't understand it yet. And what if like I use that? Like the market is wide open. So like what if I just leaned into it?
Right.
And if people don't know who I am, it's fine. But like if you see brown girl grinding, that'll be like, yo, what's that? Like you'll want to pay attention versus, oh, this is Loren. Who's brown girl grinding? So I just started hashtagging it. Like when I would upload videos, I would post a photo. Anything I would put on social, I would hashtag brown girl grinding, and it picked up. Like other girls started doing the same thing. Like they started like like they would be out and about at events and would hashtag like brown girl grinding. Like you could at one point, and it was so crazy because I'd never told people to do it. They just started, it was synonymous because I was really trying to figure it out and I was really grinding. So other girls that wanted to figure it out was doing it with me, and we were hashtagging it, and it became a community. So in 2016, I launched it as a production company because my goal with Brown Girl Grinding is to help people that are kind of like me that don't really understand what box they check, but know that they can do something well, like do it and tell the story and own it when they do it too. So that's where it came from.
Okay.
That's an interesting conversation because over the last, few weeks or what have you, my son has been on this conversation about Blueface.
Oh Lord, that man.
And the young lady where he says that she's a good dark skin. And y'all can
I hate
talk
that.
more
Pretty
about
for
that.
a dark skinned girl, pretty for a brown skinned girl. I hate that.
Yeah, y'all can talk about that, y'all, because he's got plenty to say about it. But when did you know you were darker skin or darker tone?
I've always known.
Like,
my
I
mom.
know when I'm asking it a certain way to say when did sometimes like certain people didn't know they were poor. They never knew they were poor
Until you get around people that's like
until
rich.
somebody's like, you ain't got, or why you don't, or whatever, or you have an experience. When did you know?
My mom is like extreme. I'm gonna show y'all my mom. My mom is extremely light skinned with freckles. And, and like, you know what I'm saying? So I used to get like, and I remember my mom would come to my school and people would be like, that is not your mom. And I'd be like, yes, it is. But they would literally try to convince me that it was not my mom because she was lighter than me and she had the freckles and her hair texture was different. Like, so I've always kind of like,
she's cute too.
the conversation has always been there for me, and I had to understand that really early.
Did she teach you?
Oh yeah, my mom is like, in my house, you weren't escaping no real conversations. Like, I think my mom's thing was always just trying to prepare me for the world because she went out in the world young. Like, she was 16 years old and moved up here with her dad and her family up here. So she kind of like taught herself a lot about growing up. So for me and for my brother, I think her thing always was, I want to teach my children about growing up before the world does. And I want them to form their own identity and their own sense of self before the world comes in, because the world is going to try to knock all that down. And it might happen. The world might knock it down, but if you're rooted in a certain foundation, you can always get back to it. So I would have those conversations with my mom. But then also too, I had like, you a girl, you running around with your friends, you got light-skinned friends, and you hearing little things that the boys is saying when it comes to the light-skinned girl versus you being a dark-skinned girl. Like, that was prevalent very young.
Did it bother you?
With my mom, it didn't bother me because I just used to think it was like funny. I used to be like, why do people never think that this is my mom? Like, what is wrong with y'all? But I remember one time I was with my cousins. I have like some cousins that are lighter than me too, different hair texture, longer hair. And I remember I used to throw parties in middle school and high school. And I remember I had a party and they came, and I remember somebody said to me, there's no way those can be your cousins. They're so pretty and their hair is so long. Wow. That pissed me off. And I was like, why
would you ever say something like that?
Like, why?
What do you mean?
Yes, like, why am I like the hair that completely
Threw
I think
you.
Yeah, that was the first time where I was like angry, like, oh, okay, so you're belittling me right now. But outside of that, I think it was just like little small stuff, like, you be in a group of friends and you're just hearing like, oh, light skin this and like boys, I feel like would make it such a thing when you were coming up. And when you 13, 14, 15, 16, boys and your friends are like everything. Like, you think that the world is going to end if things are not right in that little circle. But that was probably the only time where I was like upset about it.
So, okay. You go through all of these different
Yeah.
things. Life is happening, and then you're growing and going and learning and having to step back and step forward. And then somewhere along the line, you get the call that they're looking for a new host at Breakfast Club, and they are going to be having different guests host.
It didn't happen like that, but that
Okay,
sounds
what happened?
amazing. Angela Yee announced it, and I was working in the newsroom, so I'm just sitting at my desk watching trending news go by, and Breakfast Club and Angela Yee started trending, and I was like, "What the heck happened?" Because normally something like that, something happened to somebody. So I'm like, "What happened?" So I clicked the look, and I see her tweet like, "Breakfast Club will never be the same." Or remember what she tweeted?
Right? Yeah, when they were doing
Yeah, and I'm like,
yeah.
what does that mean? I'm like, we'll talk about it. Then, so she did the whole reveal about,
Right.
how she was going to leave and do her own show and all that started. And I Nexused her number, got her number, reached out to her and was like, I want to set up an interview with you about you leaving the Breakfast Club for, like TMZ, like, go send the camera. So I was like, I'll send the camera. Let's do it. So she didn't respond back for a little minute. She was like, how the heck this girl get my number? But she finally was like down. So we ran into her outside of the Breakfast Club studios, and she talked about leaving and blah, blah, blah. And in the midst of me letting her know like when the interview would air or whatever, she was like, yeah, like, because I was trying to get a follow-up story. So the next story was, well, what is the plan? Like, how are you guys going to fill the seat? Is it going to rotate? Who is the guest host? Do you know? So I'm trying to get a follow-up story. So as she's responding, I'm just asking her all these questions, and she was like, girl, they really don't know what they about to do. And I was like, there's no way. Like, it's the Breakfast Club. Like, it's no way they don't know what they don't know what they're about to do. So I'm pushing back, and I'm like, so the chair is just going to be open? Can I do a story that the chair is going to be open? They'll figure it out at a later date, what the timeline looks like. And she was like, there's really nothing I can tell you. Like, I don't know what's about to happen. And I was like, well, shoot, if y'all don't know, let me throw my hat in the ring. And she was like, I mean, you can. Like, anybody can. I was like, they don't just want celebrities. And she was like, are you asking for the story or for yourself? And I was like, no, this is off the record. Like, they don't want just celebrities. And she was like, I don't think right now there's a definite like answer to that. Like, I think they want whatever's going to make sense for the room and for the chemistry. So I don't really know, what the original plan or anything was. I didn't really know her from a can of paint. So I asked her, like, can I send you my resume or my reel? She was like, yeah. So I sent it to her a couple times. And then I just started, anybody I knew that had booked a client, like, because I knew a lot of managers and publicists from TMZ. So if you had a client on the Breakfast Club, if I saw Charlamagne or Envy followed you, or any type of relationship, and then Van was in the newsroom too. So I was getting, well, he wasn't to a certain point, and then he wasn't anymore, but I was getting anybody I knew to send my resume and my reel to them over and over and over and over again. So because I was like, they don't know me. So at least they'll know, like, yo, this girl keep getting people to send stuff. Like, how she keep doing this? And then one day, I think it was B-Dot. I got B-Dot from formerly Rap Radar to send my stuff to. And he sent me a screenshot back. And I think Charlamagne was like, yeah, tell her hit Eddie F. And I'm like, who's Eddie F? So then I remember listening to the radio, and I remember hearing Eddie F's name on the, like, I used to listen to radio in Philly.
Right?
Yeah, so I'm like, Eddie F, that name sounds familiar. And I'm like, no, it can't be the Eddie F that they used to talk about on the radio in Philly. Like, he's in New York. I never thought like he could leave a job and go to another one, or go leave a station and go to another one. So I had my manager, I hit her and was like, yo, we need to get to Eddie F. Whoever this is, we need to get to him. I looked him up. I found his picture. I was like, if we can't find an email or phone, I'm going to go to the station and just wait outside and like make him talk to me and at least get a contact. So she was like, wait. Before you do that, she was like, let me reach out to a friend who I know that works like in entertainment. One of her friends works with a show, and that show had a couple guests that they had booked. So they gave us an email. We blew his email up. Didn't respond, no response. And then we got the friend to reach out and call. So Eddie was like, okay, I'll meet with her. Came, met with him. We sat and talked for about an hour or two. And he was like, if the guys are open to it, they don't know you, but if they're open to it, I'll let you do a day or a couple days guest hosting. So I'm like, all right. Days kept changing, went from 3 days to 2 days to 1 day. And then like at the same time, I was back home because like there was a lot of medical stuff happening with my mom and my grandma. So I was just in Delaware, like just being, granddaughter, daughter, caretaker. I opened up an event space. So I was just using that space to do as much as I could because I took a step away from TMZ for some time. And when they finally said yes and gave me a date, I remember having to go back to LA, and my mom had to come with me because she couldn't be at home by herself at the time. And she was miserable. She didn't want to be there. I really knew like I had outgrown TMZ, but I didn't understand what that meant and where I was going to go next. And then they were like, we got a date for the guest hosting. So I was like, okay, I could just leave my job and tell the world I left my job on the Breakfast Club, and maybe I'll get another job. Like, that's how I was thinking about it. And then Harvey was like, no, you can't do the, because I also, on the other hand, was like, I could also just, I was supposed to launch a podcast with TMZ. I was like, I could launch that podcast here, go on the Breakfast Club to promote it, give the podcast a little bit more time, see if it garners anything, and if it doesn't, then I can step away and resign. Mm-hmm. He was like, no, you can't do the Breakfast Club. And I was like, why? And he was like, you know, I just got, he was just like, I got to think about my brand, and I don't know what that room is going to be like. And right now, people know you for, I mean, if they do know you, they know you because you work here. And I just can't, no, like, you just can't. And I was like, well, he was like, he had heard that Charlamagne had called him a racist or something at one point. It was just like a bunch of stuff he was mentioning. And I was in that moment, I was like, if you stay here, you're always just going to be the girl at TMZ. Literally. And I've been sitting on my resignation letter for some months because it was just a lot going on with my mom and my family. I felt like my life pulling me back to the East Coast, but I was like, what am I going to do for work? Like, what's about to happen? I've been in LA for like 8 years now. I finally felt like I was kind of feeling like home and getting a little settled. I think I was just getting comfortable in the fact that, like, it was like, well, what else I'm going to do? So I might as well get comfortable, stay here, see what this job going to give me, see what it's going to do. Finally accepted that for myself. And then like life and God just was like, nah, we're not going to do that. So one day I just woke up and I was like, got this resignation letter ready. It's been here for some months. I'm going to send it today. And I sent it. And then I didn't tell. So I'd already booked the day. They gave me one day to guest host Breakfast Club because I think they wanted to just see if I even fit in the room.
Right. Well, yeah. And if you knew how to flow. Yeah.
And I booked that day for sure. Didn't tell them I was leaving TMZ. I knew TMZ wasn't going to like make an announcement or nothing. Like, you're not that star of that show. Like, they only care about Harvey. So I was like, I'll be cool. So like probably like a week, maybe 4 days after that was my guest hosting day on the Breakfast Club. And I came in and Envy was like the first. I met one of the producers first, Samantha. And then Envy was the first person I met of like the talent. And he was like, yeah, so how you want me to introduce you? You know, Loren Lorosa, senior news producer at TMZ. And I was like, Loren Lorosa, formerly senior news producer at TMZ. He was like, wait, they said you worked at TMZ. And I was like, I did. And he was like, as of like when you don't? I was like, as of like 3 days ago. And he was like, what happened? You want to talk about it? I was like, sure. And so we got on air and we talked about it, and it just went crazy. Like, it went so crazy. Wow. I was like, oh, okay.
That wasn't, sometimes we don't know. Like,
no.
It just, you had no idea.
And I had packed clothes for the rest of the week because I was like, I'm already going to be in New York. My mom here with me. Like, we were coming back and forth because our doctors are up here anyway. So I was like, you know, we'll just figure some stuff out to do. Or maybe they'll ask me to stay for the rest of the week. I was leaving, and Charlamagne was like, yo, Eddie, who we got for the rest of the week? And he was like, you going back to Delaware? And I was like, yeah. He was like, you don't want to stay for the rest of the week? I was like, let me see if I have clothes. And I was like, yes, I want to stay. Knowing I had clothes in the car, literally right outside, because I had checked out of my hotel that morning.
Wow.
So I checked out of my hotel that morning, got my mom breakfast. She literally waited when I did the show the first time. My stuff was in the car. We was going to get on the highway and go back to Delaware. I went downstairs and I was like, yeah, Mom, we got to get a hotel room for like a couple more days. She was like, why? And I was like, they want me to do more days. She was like, okay. Yeah. Like, so we were just rocking out. We was rocking out for like a minute, just doing that, like, over and over.
So I'm watching, right? Because I think I've been part of the process from the beginning. Like, I've heard all of these. Like, I feel like I'm invested because I've always when I first seen you on the Breakfast, I was like, yo, Loren, she's got to be on the Breakfast Club. So I watched like the growth in the process. You know, and then like we had Jess on here a few weeks ago, and we was talking about that situation with y'all, and so I see it looks like the chemistry has just evolved, and it's like way more like brother and sister and everything.
Yeah,
but what was that period like in that time for you?
It was
really
what? Yes, it was like you can't, because you're the new girl. You can't. It's like you can't do too much because it's like you don't want to come off where people are like. I don't know. It was like I'm in a circle, like I'm in a box, and I'm like running up a wall over here. You can't do that though because this might rub this person the wrong way. Then boom, this might rub this person the wrong way. Then boom, this might rub just the wrong way. Then you stand in the middle of the box and everybody upset anyway. So it's like I was trying to figure out like I still got to do what I know how to do, and not feel bad for doing it. But at the same time, there's a lot of things going on that I have no control over. Nor do I have a permanent situation in this box myself. Any day somebody can come in here and be like, yo, this box belongs to this person, you gotta go. I didn't have no contract. I didn't have any of that. So it's like in real time, I'm auditioning for the world. I'm auditioning for powers that be at the station, because if there was a job and we had began talking about a producer role off camera, I just needed money to pay my rent. So I was like, even if I'm not gonna be on camera, I know I can find my way to a camera. And to be honest with you, I was more focused on building my own like brand on social. I knew that was like 2.5 years ago. When I left TMZ, I was like, what is missing? And I was like, right now, if you look around, you know, the only people that are driving news, especially in our space on social, it was like academics, Shade Room, Hollywood Unlocked. But I felt like Hollywood Unlocked, Shade Room, well, Hollywood Unlocked, Jason Lee has always been a personality there. But like Hollywood, Neighborhood Talk, Shade Room, Ball Alert, like a lot of the places, they didn't have personalities. And then I was looking at like, so it's like, okay, you have Angie Martinez, you have Wendy Williams, you have people, Miss Info, like you have these people that like, and then Karen Civil at one point was even doing her website with new stuff. You have people that like built brands around them being the brand. And then I'm like, like on the online right now, there isn't really a lot of that per se. And if there is, there's not one prominent place you point to. So I was like, I want to build the place. Like that was my goal when I left. I was like, I want to build that place. And if I do get another job working for somebody, I want it to be a place that like will support that. Other than that, I'd rather struggle and figure this out, because, you know, like I was fortunate enough to have like a family that has like set up certain things where like I could go to Delaware and like figure some stuff out, or, you know, like I have a following at home. I could throw events. I could, you know, when I had the event space, I was living off of just doing events at the event space for some time. I could move back home with my mom, and I wasn't ashamed to do any of that. I was like, I'm gonna do all this because I know at the end of the day where it's gonna get me. So I was really just there, like, if nothing else, I'm just here and I'm learning from the best of the best. Like, I've been watching The Breakfast Club forever, like literally forever. I remember waking up in the mornings in LA, or not even waking up, I would come home because it'd be like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I'd be coming home from probably like the club, or like I had like 3 jobs at one point, and I would be applying for entertainment jobs and listening to The Breakfast Club, or like watching The Breakfast Club per se, on like certain, like, you know, like you could go to like the website and listen live. And now I'm here with the opportunity to be in a room, even if I'm not on camera. I wasn't tripping. I was like, I'll get on camera, if not here, somewhere else. I'll figure that out. Yeah. I just need the paycheck right now and the opportunity itself. Like,
the interesting thing about it is that it's like there's always a roadblock. It's like, you know, you think, okay, and then there's a woman here who's dope in her own right, who's feeling a way, and now I'm here, and oh boy, here we go.
I always feel like
you don't account for that.
No, or like honestly, like The Breakfast Club was the closest thing I've ever come, because you know how sometimes too you set out to do something and it's just, you don't really get, like, if your goal is here, you might get here, and the proximity to it is just so amazing, and you're like, okay, if I never get here, at least I got here. The Breakfast Club to me, and that opportunity to even just guest host, was literally the first time that I got like right where you this is my dream. And like God is like, I used to joke like, where else I'm gonna work at if I leave TMZ, with my mouth, like The Breakfast Club. Like I literally used to joke, and I'm like, I'm sitting here like, this is insane. So I just knew, I'm like, this too good to be true. Like, it's no way I'm about to work here. Like, I literally knew it. So that's why when I got the guest hosting, I did a couple days, and when they would call me back for those couple days, I never really thought about it like, I 100% know this is going to happen. Of course I was like, yo, this would make so much sense if it did. But I was like, there's no way in hell. Like, it would just be, God would literally be working overtime, and he already working overtime in my life. I know he's tired. Like, and so to be there, I was just like, wait, what? Like,
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then to have, like, he always provides exactly what you need.
When you need it too.
Exactly when you need it. And so Angie is just upstairs somewhere around the corner across the studio.
Next door.
The next door.
Yo.
Who just says, wait a minute, we not going to have this. We going to get everybody in their lane. We going to give some tips. We going to
That
get
was
folks
crazy.
together. And I can imagine that you are grateful for her stepping in to say, let me
The
get the
first time
sisters
I was
together.
sitting at my desk and I saw Angie Martinez walk in, I literally, like, the producers at the show were like laughing. I was like, oh my God. Like,
Yeah, she's
I
dope.
could
She's
barely
dope.
even speak. So then we met like a little bit after that, and she was just, after I was there guest hosting when Jess went on maternity leave, and she was just telling me how good I was doing. And we had a real conversation one day. This was before all the Jess stuff. We had a real conversation one day. My interview when Chloe Bailey came there the first time, and I was talking to her. I think it was about like Burna Boy. And people used to be so mad at me. Like, they used to be like, how dare she ask that question? Who she thinks she is? She just got here. She need to learn her place. She need to simmer down. People did not like me on that show for a very long time.
Are you serious?
They felt, it was like, she talks too much. She don't know her place. This is not her show. She's the new girl. Why is she asking those questions? Why is she so, like, it was all of that. So whenever I would ask something in an interview, I would know that, okay, this is going to go super viral. So I would just get off the internet, because it used to be so crazy at first, because I wasn't used to all of that. And that day, I think the Chloe Bailey stuff was going viral. And me and her sat down and we was having food. I think it might have been her birthday. We was having food and just sitting and talking. And she was like, what's your goal? And I was like, you mean like in the station or in life? And I was talking her through it. And she was like, because you're disrupting a lot right now. And it's been a very long time since we've seen someone do this in this way. But I know it's tough. Because like disruption isn't always like calm and fitting and people hug you through it. It's like you're shaking things and there's a lot of pushback. There's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of whatever. And she was like, I just want you to know what your goal is and all of that, and not get either lost in it or get so overwhelmed or defeated by it that you can't handle it anymore, if that is what you want to do. If you want to be a personality that isn't afraid to disrupt, there's a lot that comes with it. So we had that conversation. So when all the stuff happened, she was like, why you didn't call me? I was like, what was I going to say? I couldn't say nothing to anybody about anything that was happening, because I felt like I came in.
You don't want to cause
Yeah,
no
yeah.
problems.
No, it's like, it's already, I mean, obviously it was already like a lot going on. So I'm like, I don't even want to, like, unless you were like there. And another thing too, I think for me, I'm just really like, there's a level of loyalty that I have to people, not just because they've helped me, but because I know how hard it is to get to, like, I look at Envy and Charlamagne and everything that they have, and I'm like, people don't understand how hard they work and how hard it is to get to that level.
Yeah.
So my whole thing was, I don't want to say or do anything that makes this worse, because I don't want to be the person messing up all of this that they've worked for. So I'ma just talk to them.
Meanwhile, especially Charlamagne didn't give a shit.
But you know what's crazy though? Behind the scenes, he was like, he a little stupid.
Exactly.
Yeah, but he was a little like, I think with him, he just be like, it's not that big of a deal.
It's not that big of a deal.
Like,
nothing is ever
Yeah,
that
it's
big
like,
of a
Like,
deal.
what's
What?
happening? What do you
shut up,
mean?
hush on Monday. We be family by Friday. And I'm like, it got to a point where I was like, no.
This is
like,
good radio for
we
him.
need to talk. Like, we need to. But Envy from the rip was like,
yeah.
and then eventually Charlamagne was like, okay,
This
hold
is
on, wait.
serious.
Yeah, like, nah, this ain't something that like we just gonna like joke.
Well,
and
she
get
was
through.
hurt.
Yeah, but I think everybody learning each other in the situation, because again, I'm new in the situation, but their relationship is new in the situation.
Yeah.
So all of this disruption with me is happening while they're learning each other too. So it was like, that's another reason
It
why
was good. It was healthy.
It was good,
It was
but
healthy. I'm glad
Everybody
she
was learning everybody at the same time.
yes, but
And
imagine
the thing was, she felt like this was her spot.
Yeah.
That you didn't have the right to learn any of this shit.
at all.
That
And
you
it-
just needed to be quiet.
Yeah.
And when we
Yo.
call on you, you say something. And you was like, nah, I'm here and I'm going to make sure.
No,
So I
but wait,
was-
hold on. Let me say this too, because I feel like when people talk about the story, one thing that never gets talked about is the fact that I did do that for some time. I did be like, you know
Yeah,
what?
you
You're
were,
right.
but-
Like, there was a point in time where, like, I was a producer, I was completely off air. Like, when Jess came back, we had that first day. It didn't go well. Like, it was not good. And then I was like, all right, fuck. I don't want no parts. Like, it's not that deep to me.
I'ma fall back.
Yeah, like I'm whatever. So I took a week off, and then I came back, and I was just working as a producer. So we were like helping build out her segments, like scripting her segments, helping her build out her segments. Like, you know, she'll say what topic she want to talk about. We will put it together. That happened for some time, and it was literally to a point where like you only would hear from me if she's like, yo, this is a lot for me to report. Girl, come on in here. And that's just kind of what it was. It was like, yo, you see Mike, and that's your role you play, and you're producer. And I'm all right. Here I am. Like,
But
you know what I mean?
Leonard, his it's not that serious attitude festers this kind of stuff because then people start feeling like they don't know their place with him. Like, you know,
I
like,
think
like,
it's not knowing your place in general in a situation where the roles were still being defined.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I mean by like it was so new. Like, so
but
imagine,
his position is you wouldn't be here
You weren't
if I
supposed to
didn't
be
want
here.
you to be here.
Yeah, and I you know what's crazy? One of the things that I learned from him is that mentality of like, you supposed to be here.
That's right.
Period. So
Yeah.
like if you here, nigga,
You
on the
supposed to be
space. Like you supposed
Yeah.
to be here. I think a lot of time, and I always
Men don't understand female
I
dynamics.
say this
though.
to him all the time,
They
and he'll be
don't
like, "It's not a man or woman thing."
Yes,
and,
it is.
And I'm like, "No. First of all, you are 15 years in this. That's number one. So what I can have the space to take up is different than what you could take up. And then secondly, you're a man. So like, there are certain ways that and certain sensitivities that I've learned. That's one of the biggest things I've learned in being at the Breakfast Club. From the me and Jess is, learning each other to just in general with interviews, conversations, my outreach, my cold calling. I've had to really learn how to like the person of me, how to have, there's like a sense of like sensitivity and human that the newsroom doesn't really, you don't have time to be all sensitive and human. News is breaking like this. And if something go down, everybody hop on it or you fired. You got to go.
Right.
And just the way I grew up, like in my household, it's like, yo, you take too long, something can happen. Like we gotta, something going on over there, you gotta know how to get over here real quick. Yeah, so I've always been like reactionary. So to this day, I'm still learning like, oh, slow down, girl. Like it's okay. You're a person. Be a person. Be a little sensitive. You could feel. Take your time. And this stuff happening literally to this day where I'm like, oh. But now that I've been at the Breakfast Club and working with the group for so long and kind of working with people who are completely different than what I come from work-wise, because the newsroom, everybody's like me. Everybody's like, you call whoever about whatever. Like, working with people who are the complete opposite, I've literally learned, oh, I kind of see where that was insensitive. Or, yeah, I could have waited. I didn't have to call you the day that person died. Or, like, just small things.
So you're learning again. You're back to learning. I mean, every other story you tell,
I am literally,
you stop to learn.
I'm in like, I say it all the time, I'm in like artist development. Like, like when an artist gets signed to a label, I'm going through that right now. Like in like the most major ways of like ways possible. Like
You're doing a good job.
You're doing awesome.
You're doing
This has
awesome.
been.
Thank you.
But I just want to say before this is my last thing. 5 years from now, like where do you see yourself?
Well, Brown Girl Grinding is going to be like, how you think about Nike? Well, I don't know if people still think about it that way, but when you think about Nike, you think of like everything like top level, highly produced, good quality, good relationships. Brown Girl Grinding is going to be that of production, and we'll be that across development. We'll have talent that we're working with and managing, podcast spaces, like storytelling will be the helm of it. And if it don't come through us, you probably won't even be looking for it. Like that's how big of a hold I want to have on this like media industry across things, not just news. Personally though, like I'm gonna be a wife, I'll be a mom, I'll be able to take a vacation, not feel guilty. Yeah, I think those would be the two things. And my show, like whatever my show will look like with 5 years from now, it'll be produced by Brown Girl Grinding. We'll be partnered with probably whatever the biggest streamer is in the world at that time to do it. And the biggest part of it is like I want to be in service. Like that's another thing that I learned a lot from the space I'm in right now. Like I've always been a person that's like that, but I don't think I really understood how the job I do could be of service to people, because I always felt like, do I really help people by doing what I'm doing every day? Like, this is so, like, fluff and celebrity and, whatever. But then you think about, like, the people that, like, just, man, I got like people that I meet that are just like, hey, can I go to an event with you? And the exposure that gives them, or internships or whatever. Like, I really want to have a really strong arm in being of service to people with over the next 5 years. Like, I want my footprint to be like way more than just like, what stories has she broken, or, you know, what roles, or EGOT winner, because that's going to be, I'm going to be EGOT.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
Talk it.
yeah, I ain't going to drop no music. I probably will like do like syncing
Yeah,
or
you
something.
gotta have a little
but
something
yeah,
somewhere.
I'll figure it out.
We get a track together. I'll put you on.
Oh,
something.
Lord.
When you think about service, I mean, you came from two places that in TMZ and the Breakfast Club that do it differently, but they focus a lot on news and politics and things of that nature.
Yes.
Is that a little bit outside of how you grew up and how you were raised, or is that really comfortable for you? You know, because some people, just because you was in entertainment world doesn't mean that you care about like what's going on in the political world.
At TMZ, the news desk was the news desk. There wasn't like politics. There was, and then there was us. It was like us. So like, if something is going on in politics, we all have to understand it. We all have to be breaking news around it. We all have to like, it wasn't segregated in that way. This is the first job where it's like you can just fully focus on like the entertainment and the celebrity stuff, and then if it crosses over into politics. Growing up in my household though, oh yeah, politics is like, you don't have a choice. Like, my mom, voting is like a family holiday
have
we
to
all
go.
do together.
Exactly.
My mom is like, she'll call me, I mean, oh my gosh, y'all know the YouTube channel, The Midas Touch? My mom, like, I be having to tell her, turn them off. Like, that, CNN, like, she is, everything in my family is, from my mom to like my larger family, is very, very much like political, but they're also, it's like really, really black too.
Right.
So it's like you got politics and you have community, and you have, and I mean politics on like high level, local level, you know, all of that, to being really black at the same time, but also really experiencing things in real life too. So like a lot of the things that people are like fighting for, it's like, oh, like we really like lived this for real. So like I understand it a different way, but in my family, you don't really have a choice. Do I do politics or do I not? Like you literally,
It is a part of
you
your
don't,
life.
yeah, you don't have a choice. Like you have to, my mom's thing is always like, you know, you got to know what's going on in the world. Like you can't let the world do you. You got to do the world. Like you really got to know what's going on. Like you're here. You're not here just to be cute. Like you got to know what's up. So
Well, it shows. It shows that it
Yeah,
shows
because
that
you pay attention to detail, right? Very detail oriented. Everything that you do is like you get the details, and they ask you a question. You be like, yeah, and I thought about that, and you go right back, and you be like, well, did you? Oh yeah, I did that too, and I reached out to this person, and that's very, very intentional.
thank you.
And I just want to say, I want to ask this. This is my last question. What is the biggest lesson that you've learned? That you like right now, at the old age you are, like, what is the most important thing you think you've learned over this time?
Just to slow down. And I think when people hear that, they're going to think like, oh, she moving too fast through like work. Like, first of all, in work, yes, slow down. Because at my last job, everything was like, be first, be factual. And there's human error is a real thing. But, you know, now that it's just me, like I don't have a research team. I don't have 2 EPs that sit and know the story and know all the details, can grab something, catch something. So like moving first and factual has not worked for me sometimes, where like I have gotten things wrong and had to go back and correct it or whatever, and I'm like, so slow down in that aspect and like really take the time. And sometimes it does make sense to be first, but then I learned that like sometimes it doesn't make sense to be first. It makes sense to have the clarity, and that doesn't always mean you're going to be first. Sometimes you got to sit with it. You got to, and that's like in this new space of life, but also just in life personally, slowing down. I've learned to try and take more time to do that. I think I've gotten a lot better at like I won't answer my phone. I won't respond to every text. I'll take, you know, even if it's just a weekend, to go home and be with my mom and my grandmother, and we'll literally tell people like, no, I'm not coming. I haven't been here in a while. I need to sit down and be with them. And even that wasn't something that like, you know, I've always been really close with my family, but you just don't have a concept of time when you're young.
Right.
Like
You're
you
on the
just
move.
moving,
You're on the
you
move.
hustling,
You're on
you
the
trying to
move.
figure it out. And now I went through a year of like having no job and just figuring out work and money as projects would come. But the one thing that stayed consistent was my family.
Yes.
So for me, and everything, like I literally remember coming back from LA and being home for the year, and it was just like little small stuff. And I'm like, dang, how did I miss that when I was visiting? or like my mom would like not remember something. I'm like, oh, she's getting older. But I wouldn't have caught that when I was back and forth hustling, bustling, you know, to LA. And now that things have picked back up, I have that feeling of like, I know what it's like to sit still and really take the time with things.
Be intentional.
So I'll feel myself slipping. I'll be like, yo, you gotta slow down. Like, Loren, you gotta slow down, because if you gonna get anywhere, you trying to get there for a long time, not a good time.
Longevity.
You gotta slow down. And Charlamagne he the main one. Don't just read that was him. You gotta read it. Like, don't just read the headline. You gotta, because a lot of times I'm like,
oh, we go through this. We argue every day.
yeah, I'm like,
I literally argue with Charlamagne at least 3 times a day.
We twins.
Every day.
We twins.
Every single day. And Teslin, oh Lord, Jesus, help us.
I'm glad
God.
I'm not in the chat with y'all.
Oh my
That
Lord,
is-
Jesus. Teslin don't play.
Yeah.
You know, but we all learn from one another,
Yeah.
right? Because we listen to one another. Even when we totally don't agree, we listen to one another. And I told you before that I know what it feels like to have a Charlamagne in your corner, because it has been my situation, and I see how he uplifts you. You know, you can see it. It's so clear. Or he'll be like, hit Loren, you know, and he only does that with certain people. And I appreciate him for that, because not everyone is out here using their platform to ensure that other Black women, people help men a lot of times.
Yeah.
But helping other Black women is not something that is normal.
Not like this. And it's like, and you don't got like, you don't have to question like, why?
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah.
Like,
no.
I
I never ever thought that. I've
Yeah.
never felt that with him.
I always be like, I be saying it to him like, you are, like, it's crazy because he's so not nice, but he is like,
No.
I'd be like, yo, you too nice. Like, what? Like, no.
It's just genuine. It's just like,
Yeah,
that's
but-
one thing. I've known Charlamagne for over 20-something years, right? And he's always been the same way. And his authenticity is what got him to where he's at. Like,
Yeah.
he's made mistakes, he's done this and that, but it's always been in an authentic role. And I think the path that he's traveled, right, and he's seen the pitfalls and knowing all the things he had to go through, I think he's very intentional about creating spaces for people like you, for people like Tamika, even myself, for people like us to be able to thrive in that without having to go through what he had to go
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know how hard it is to be, I don't even say how hard. You know how rare it is to see people doing that and be Black, and the people that they're doing it for are actually successful. Like, I just, like, this year alone, I've seen success in a lot of different areas that I was working 8-9 years at this at a very high level. Like, TMZ is like, not
Yeah,
only are they
that's the biggest
TMZ,
news, yeah.
but like, you're in LA, that's the #1 market.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
on daytime and primetime TV. I've seen movement and success in my life in this last year or two that I thought it was going to take me 10, 15 years to not even just see the success, but even just be in the proximity of some of the things that I've been able to be blessed to see that like motivate me. And a lot of it is like, you know, it's Black Effect and the podcast that I do. It's being at the Breakfast Club. It's when they like, yo, we going here, come. And then I get to see, like, I'm like, oh.
How things operate.
Yeah.
And you also have some of the best, whether they call themselves mentors or not, because even Envy, who he's not as what do you call it, like outside, if you will, or Charlamagne. I don't even know how you call it, because I don't want to diminish his role in any way. He still knows radio very, very much. He's smart. He knows radio, and if you just watch how he operates, he keeps a machine moving in that space. Like, you know that
He's
he
the
is
driver.
the wheels, right? He's turning the show. So you're really learning at the highest level. I think that the energy between you and Jess is so great, and I am so grateful to God that you did not show up there as the gossip girl who is like, you know, trying to get your licks on, tearing down everybody Black, right? Like, that is just, it's good. So it's just good to see you there. You are an incredible example for young Black women and older Black women like myself, because I'm old, who are coming up in this space. And we just want to encourage you, because the success that you have today, how you said it's moving fast and you're growing, there is moments where you hit walls, you know, and when you hit the walls, it hurts. It's not, and it happens to every single person. No one is exempt from those moments where, you know, you might make a mistake or somebody just put a lie on your name. You just never know what could happen to run you into a wall. And having your head on straight is gonna be the thing that helps you to navigate through those times. And so you got one. Your head is on. We like you. A lot.
I'm glad y'all like me. I don't like me. I'm glad y'all like me.
Nah,
Y'all
they like
matter.
you. They love you. Jada Pinkett tells the story of how there were two young men who treated her, they were talking shit about her on the internet. And you know, every time you turn around, somebody got something to say about Jada did this. They turn stories around on her. Shit she ain't even say. It turns into that. So these two young men, they had talked so much shit about her, and they, you know, it just was not a good encounter. And they ended up at an event, and she saw them there and was like, "Oh, that's them too? Okay, cool."
Right.
She's come over here. Let
Baltimore
me talk to
came
you
up.
for a minute, you know. And she was gonna talk to them and figure out what the hell is the problem, why y'all always attacking me. And when they approached her, they was like, "Oh shit, like this is really her. Like we about to have a conversation." And she was like, "Let's take a picture. Let's hug each other. Like, you know, let's be in relationship." And they were like, "Oh my God, we love you." Changed the entire energy between them just because she engaged them. You know, she made them feel like I'm accessible and found out that people actually don't hate you at all. But if they don't know you and they can't touch you and feel you and they can't figure you out, sometimes their reaction to you is just to be negative. That's the way some of us have been raised.
Because
That's
they feel
bad
that you get
energy.
attention that way too.
Exactly. You get attention that way. And meanwhile, when they get to know you, it's like, "Oh, you pretty dope. Like, actually, I'm a
I
fan."
don't be stunting these
People love you.
I don't be stunting these people. Child.
That's
Just keep
right.
on
It depends
grinding,
on the day in the
brown
story.
girl.
Like it's so much ebbs and flows with this. I really don't. I don't hold a lot of stake in a lot of there's not a lot of stock in.
What people have to say.
Yeah,
It
like
changes
it's
from day to
there
day.
and I know it's there, and every now and then like I'll be like, hold on, wait, what? But then I'm like, tomorrow's another day, and I've had to teach myself that because the Breakfast Club and the way that their audience is so vast and they
Yes.
cling to you. They will let you know when you're not having a good day,
Yeah.
but then they'll let you know when you're having a good day.
Yeah.
So it's like so up and down. So if I was like on this emotional roller coaster for like 4 or 5 months, and I was like, oh, you can't do this to yourself, girl. You're gonna be depressed. Like you gotta have a sense of like, no matter how bad my day is, I'm
This
not
is
going
what it
below
is.
this level.
That's
Or
right.
no matter how good the day is, girl,
going-
get up tomorrow. You gotta do this again tomorrow. Don't
And show up and be cute. The way you be being
don't
cute.
party too much because you had a good day today. You gotta do this 4 more times this week and 100 more times next week and next month and next year. Steadfast, like, you know, long time, not a good time.
Loren Lorosa.
We appreciate
This
you.
is
Thank
been
y'all for
amazing.
Keep
having
on grinding,
me.
brown girl.
Thank y'all.
Yes, I'm so happy for you. I mean,
Thank
I tell you that all the time.
Yeah, you do,
So
you
you
do.
already know
Yeah.
that we are always cheering you on, and whatever we could do to help you along your path. You know, you on the Breakfast Club, so it's a little different. You up here with the
Oh my
big dog.
God.
The big
But
dog.
Whatever we could do to help you along your path, you just say the word, and we're here to
Thank you.
support you.
I appreciate y'all. I really do.
Thanks for
You
coming.
know what's so crazy? When you were doing, I don't think I ever told you this, but when all the like marches stuff was happening and you were doing all that stuff in Minneapolis,
Yeah.
literally I didn't know you then, but we used to cover you a lot at TMZ. And I did a conversation, I think it was with Neo, I want to say. Either it was Neo or Big Tigger, very random mix, but one of the two. It was with somebody, it was a celebrity there, and everybody was on those Instagram lives trying to like save the world. And they asked me on the live, like, who do you think is like the next leader that's going to rise up that could really like push us? And I was like, Tamika Mallory. Like, you've always been like one of my favorite activists. Like, if I had to be a fly girl activist, I don't know how you do it all the time, but you are. It's a lot of us that are like,
Yeah, but you know the support that I receive from all the people. You talk about Big Tigger, like that's somebody who has used every single platform he's had to help bring awareness to whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I had to learn to focus on those people and less on the roadblocks, because there's so many roadblocks, there's so many haters, so many people trying to stop you, so many people trying to make you feel like what you do is not important. But there's so many other people who are trying to help us push our message and get whatever we're trying to work, whatever we're working on out there. And I just have had to zoom in on that, narrow in on the positive, because the negative is loud as hell. It is
but
so
y'all
loud.
are real people though too. That's what I think
You
is so
too.
dope. Yes, but I'm saying there's a lot of like activists that like, it's like, where are you even from?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, what do you, what's your, like,
Girl,
what,
you want to go on another
what cloth
interview?
are you cut from? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's different when it's like you could feel the cloth somebody is cut from, and then like y'all out here trying to like make the world right, which.
Well, we do this because we have no choice.
That's a
Other
fact.
people are doing it. They have chosen to do it for a particular benefit that they receive, whether it be them getting attention for it. It's sometimes people, it's a job. It's a literal job to get out there, you know, start your organization or whatever and be an advocate. And I'm not saying all of that is bad, but in our situation, our lives, our children's lives, our families literally depend on the work that we do every day, and we know that because we've been called. When you've been called to do something, it's very different than making a choice that, oh, I'm just gonna go be an advocate. That's good, but when God says this is what you have to do, no matter where you run, you can't get away from
That's what
it.
you tell yourself on dark days.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm called. I know I'm called because I don't want to have nothing to do with this. I don't want to be in this. I don't want to be in the work that I'm in every day. I want the world to get better, where I could go off and fulfill the other dreams. I have all kinds of other things that I want to do and other ways that I know I could show up in the world. But every time I try to turn it off, whatever happens, it's like I'm in it and I don't even realize it.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, when you cooking, you might not have made spaghetti for a long time, but as soon as you get to cooking it, you be like, oh yeah, I got to go get, and I need a little, it just becomes so natural to you. This is where I'm supposed to be. And so I'm doing it, but I hope one day, I pray that one day we will be in a situation where, like, I see the world changing so much right now. And what is giving me a lot of hope is that every time there's any positive change, you got to go through the negative parts of it. Like, there's no way to it but through it. And so perhaps this Trump and all the things that's happening today, it is a part of the process that's going to help a new set of leaders and vision and courage emerge.
Yeah.
So
Silver
that's the good thing about it. But anyway, we've been talking.
We appreciate
for 20,000
y'all.
hours.
We
Look,
Thank
now
you.
that I took over, so we appreciate y'all.
Yes.
Like, trying to close the show.
Yes, you did good.
Thank you.
And Brown Girl Grind.
Yes, absolutely.
Much love and shout out to Loren Lorosa. That was a beautiful interview. Just got to dive in and just get to know some things. You don't really know what a person's struggle is, right? You don't know what their plight is. Like we said during the interview, a lot of people thought she was just like an overnight success. Just paying attention, I knew that wasn't true. And to hear her just give a testimony of her travels, you know, I would implore you to go to her YouTube page and, like she said, and watch some of her
journey.
so you can understand what she went through. But dope interview, and I think there's a lot of stuff on the horizon for her.
Yeah, she is, as she said, Charlamagne often tells her, she's exactly where she's supposed to be. And, you know, I think she talks about her family life, which is important. We shape so much about who our children become. And we've talked about this before. Just that it's, you know, your especially your mother. And I only say especially your mother because a lot of people end up spending the most of their time with their mothers. Not because the father's a deadbeat or any of that, but a lot of times dads are out of the household a lot, working, you know, doing what they can to make the household run. And mothers fulfill a rightful role in many cases to nurture and be there damn near every day. I'm not saying that's always the case, so y'all don't got to come for me, but that's the case a lot of times, right? And if your mom lacks a level of consciousness, it's very difficult to overcome that unless you're intentional about it.
That's true.
And it's obvious that Loren Lorosa's mother has been an incredible example for her in her life. And so, you know, the fruit the fruit will always expose the tree. Always expose the tree. Even if you're so much better than what you come from, you can still see, oh, this person really worked hard to overcome the toxicity of however they grew up. So Loren Lorosa, she's a dope sister. I'm so happy that she was on today because I've been wanting to know more. I didn't even want to ask 1,000 questions in advance of the interview. I really knew that it was a good idea to learn as we all went along so that the experience could be really authentic. And so,
yeah, shout out Hope that y'all enjoyed the interview. Shout out to Loren again for the in-depth interview. Like, she sat down and gave us some time. She didn't just come in and say, I got to go fast. No, she sat down like family, like
She
friends
said,
we are.
take some time.
She takes some time,
slow
and we did
down.
it. So hope that y'all enjoyed the interview. That brings us to the end of another episode of TMI. We appreciate y'all for sticking with us. Let us know who else y'all want us to interview. Let us know what topics you want us to talk about. Tell us how much you love us. Tell us what you don't like, what you do like. We want to get all of your feedback because I'm not going to always be wrong. Tamika D. Mallory's not going to always be right, but we will both always, and we mean always, be authentic.
Peace.
So,
Listen to the TMI podcast on the Black Effect Network, on iHeartRadio, or anywhere podcasts are available.
or catch the video version on YouTube at TMI Show PC.